But let's start with Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson's agent told Adam Schefter that he has not requested a trade, but if he were dealt, he would waive his no trade clause for the Cowboys, Saints, Raiders, or Bears. Last week, it was reported that he had a November meeting with Pete Carroll and I believe the rest of the offensive coaching staff, and he stormed off as they were kind of in flux with how they wanted to run the offense for good reason. Tanner, give me your thoughts on this whole Russell Wilson trade fiasco that we're dealing with here.
So I'm very on edge on what I'm not sure what to believe yet, but I'm just kind of basing off gut feeling and everything. Is so all these rumors are coming out, and you never hear, or rumors always have a little bit of truth to them, and they get leaked by someone within the organization. So why would they leak something about Russell Wilson within the organization?
This is not the organization. This is his agency. This is his camp.
Well,
this is his camp. For sure.
Exactly.
Right. And that's the thing, Robert. Like, I from the beginning have been 100% certain that Russell Wilson has no intention of leaving the Seahawks. I don't think he's ever had any intention. I don't think he wants to leave the Seahawks. I think he's a crazy person if he thinks he could go anywhere else and get as good of a situation as he's had with the Seahawks for the last, 10, 11 years at this point. Here's the thing. I honestly have to applaud him and his agent a little bit because they've played the game very well for the last couple days. But you know what happened? Well, you know what happens when you play the game this well for too long? People start to ask questions and people start to go, well, there's another side to this conversation, right? Mm-hmm. And the reason I say this is because the other day I was listening to the radio, right, to national media. And national media, for the most part, had been on Russell's side, being like, oh, Russell, you're being so hard done by. Well, somebody actually had the foresight to bring up the fact that, honestly, Russell, buddy, you didn't play that hot last year for the second half of the season.
Second half.
I mean, he played pretty good for 4 weeks, maybe 5. And then the rest of the season, he was really just mediocre. And the fact is this: with the conversation about Russell storming out of the offensive meeting,
yeah.
Frankly, Russell, you're acting like a baby, and you were given the opportunity to play how you wanted to play. You were given the ball in your hands. They put the ball in your hands and they said, "Make it happen."
They quit
play
on
how
him.
You play. No, Robert, they did not quit on him. The man's interception percent numbers went skyrocketing. What do you expect them to do when his numbers go, when he starts having insanely, ridiculously different interception to touchdown percentages?
Well, that's because of how much they're running the ball, which pisses me off.
Robert, no. This was when they were still doing the Russell cook.
But let him do it for a full year.
Robert, we're gonna lose. That's the most idiotic take I've ever heard you say, Robert.
Look, he was gonna win the MVP after 4 weeks.
I don't care. I don't care, Robert. Honestly, as much as I would love for Russell Wilson to be MVP, if you're going to be a great quarterback, you need to be able to realize that maybe this isn't working for the team.
He needs to do this, or they're going to work. They need to do this, or they're going to lose in the wild card every year for the rest of his career, because that's what's happening.
Robert,
they're losing in the wild card every year for good reason.
They're not. No, they're not. They're not. Robert, you honestly
losing in the wild card for good reason.
Mind blown that you honestly believe they should have kept letting him just throw the ball downfield.
Yes,
just let Russell cook.
They should have.
We would have been, Robert, we would have been like 5-12. We would have been nowhere close to the wild card if we
give me your
let
thoughts
that happen.
on this.
So here, I'm going to
go ahead, Tanner, first.
Not intercept, but kind of get in the middle of this real quick. So we can all agree that in the first half, or most of us can agree, that Russell Wilson was the MVP through, say, the end of October last year.
Yeah,
right?
I think
Correct.
mostly end of
Yeah.
September to be more fair, but either way.
Okay. And then Brannan, right?
Yeah.
So, you were just saying that we should have taken the ball out of his hands sooner because
No, I'm saying the time that they took the ball out of his hands at the meeting,
Mhm,
which
Was
was about November,
mhm.
was proper because he had been showing the signs of it starting to like not work because anybody who's watched the games can see that defenses were figuring him out. Like
Mhm.
it wasn't working anymore.
So I just looked it up, and he didn't throw an interception until October 20th. So wait, yeah, he didn't throw an interception through 220 passes. Oh, that's
Right, but when it's not working anymore, it's not working anymore.
But my thing is, we looked amazing on offense through the first half, and then all of a sudden, just something wasn't working, and I feel like we should turn it back instead of likely blaming Russell for it. Think about the coaching staff, because I've also seen reports saying that the coaching staff just refused to adjust. Like DK Metcalf said, they refused to adjust to anything else, and
Bro,
that's why teams were
They
adjusting.
literally let Russell do a completely opposite way of doing things than they've been doing for the last like 10 years. And it worked for a percentage of the season, but like I don't know. Like here's my thing.
Do you think it can't work next season for 17 games if we play 17, not 16?
I think I believe with a more conservative mixed up passing style, I do believe it can work. Like I believe and this is one of my other points about Russell. I believe like with the new guy with the new offensive coordinator we got out of LA, I believe if he can convince Russell to get the ball out of his hands quicker with like more slants and more short passes and more mixing it up, and then using the deep passes as like kind of a big blow, like a big piece play,
Mhm.
I think that would work better.
Shane,
Because
let
if
me-
you
go ahead.
do that and then you add in running plays as well, you get more of a dynamic offense.
Shane, I want to ask you this question. Do you think that this Seahawks offense is a good play action offense in relation to the rest of the league in 2020? Do you think they were a good play action offense? Because if they're going to do this, they're going to have to be much better on play action.
No, I wouldn't say they were, but based off the personnel they have, I think they could be. It's just, I mean, part of the problem is they don't do it all that often to begin with, so it's kind of hard to gauge. But yeah, that's, I mean, you look at, offenses like, when we think of offenses that are creative or have good schemes, you think of Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, Matt LaFleur, and there's lots of motion, lots of play action. That's clearly, at least I think, kind of the direction the league is going. And so, yeah, I do think that they need to improve in that. Because the Seahawks, they have an interesting offensive personnel because they, I mean, Russell as a quarterback, he's kind of an all-around guy. I mean, he can scramble, he can improvise, he's got a good arm, all that. But I feel like, because the offensive line obviously has to improve. No one's going to deny that.
It's going to take
And
a
you have-
long while.
Yeah, and then you have two receivers that are pretty much deep threats. So, I mean, that right there is a bit of a disconnect because you need a good offensive line if you're going to have, be going deep to these guys all the time. Or you don't need it, but yes, you do need it. So, and then there's the running back situation. We don't know what they're doing there. They say they believe in Rashad Penny, who's injured more than Chris Carson.
Boy.
I mean, unless they go and get a free agent, there's Fournette might be available. Mike
He's my
Davis,
number one guy that the
name-
Seahawks should go after. I think he should
Yeah.
definitely go. I think that
Why
they
would
should
you?
definitely
Why would you go
Fournette.
after Fournette, who had a really bad regular season?
That's the
And
thing.
Because
had
you
double
need
it.
basically.
you just
Guys
need a
that are
guy who
open.
can't get hurt. He's not going to get hurt for you.
I guess, but like he's
And
not
we still have
exactly
Penny
like,
there on the
he's
fifth year
not
option.
exactly a
Dallas.
Seahawks. He's not exactly a Seahawks guy though.
Is
Like,
any running
Seahawks-
back a Seahawks guy though?
Yes,
How many
Seahawks-
bruises are
Seahawks
left?
running backs?
Power back.
I mean, the Seahawks just go after power backs, but like maybe honestly, if they're gonna switch things up and go with more of a quick action scheme, like sort of doing a quicker thing. Because here's the thing, I'm on the bandwagon of the O-line is terrible. I've said that the whole season. Like you guys have all heard me talk time and time again about how bad the O-line is. It's a fact. But, and here's the big factor, I've also seen Russell hold the ball when he's had guys open and just like not give his O-line much help in terms of like just holding on to the ball for a long time.
Yeah, because according to Next Gen Stats, he holds the ball longer than any other quarterback.
Yeah, which is ridiculous when you have the shittiest O-line.
Well, isn't that par for the course too? That team is so much about deep threats with their receivers.
But that's the thing.
Yeah,
I'm really hoping that our new offensive coordinator can convince Russell to switch up his game a little bit, because I do believe that guys like DK and Tyler can both be like more medium range threats as well as deep threats, you know? Because like DK's so big that I feel like he could body his way in the middle of the field.
He has done that.
Right. We've seen him do that. So
And Tyler
I don't
Lockett's
know.
so quick that, you know.
I mean, I think if Russell, I'll just say this, if Russell really like keeps having problems like this, he might want to get himself a new
A better back brace.
No, he needs a better manager, because honestly, using a baseball manager in football.
Well, in his agency, I mean Mark
work.
Rogers. Yeah,
Yeah,
Mark Rogers is interesting.
He doesn't work in football. Like
Tanner, I'm sure you can speak to this. It's really weird to see what Mark Rogers has done with him, because he is an MLB guy, but also partially the way in which they've conducted business with him has been so strange in terms of contract negotiations now with the trading. Have you noticed how strange it is? Because I feel so like it's shocking that the agency would come out and say, oh, here are the 4 teams that he's interested in. Here's what we're going on with the contract. They've been so open about it in a really strange way that I think baseball is leaning towards that more than anything as well. But
I just think that's the way sports are leading in general right now. You see players like Deshaun Watson speaking out against not wanting to play against or play for Houston anymore. Then you see it with Russell. And I know there are some other athletes out there that have spoken out about being traded and then being traded. James Harden, another one. I just think that's a thing in sports. Like the players want to be in control of their situations and everything, and have the organization and owners and upper management have a little less power, a little more for the players. I don't know. So I haven't really batted an eye thinking about the specific agency and everything, and how they've handled it. I just think it's the world we live in now, where athletes are wanting to be heard. They're using their social platform to get what they want. And so, and then just going based off of talking about all the teams that are being listed, here's kind of my gut feeling with it. I do not think Russell Wilson wants to be traded from here. I don't think he will end up doing it. But I just think it's kind of fishy on how they're like, we're not requesting a trade.
But here are
Yeah.
the teams.
Well, but it's also like Oh yeah, sorry, Tanner. Go ahead.
It's but here are the four teams we will be traded to, or we will accept a trade to, if discussions happen to come up.
Yeah, other than the Saints, who are a negative
Right.
62 million in cap
but-
and can't even do it.
And by the way, all of these four teams, Saints can't do it. The Cowboys aren't going to do it because they'll probably have either
Cowboys
the
can.
franchi-
They'll give Dak
well,
the franchise and
they'll
trade
either
Russell Wilson.
Well, I don't know.
They could do that. They could
I
do
don't
that.
Think, I don't think they would. I don't think they're going to do it. I don't think they're going to franchise Dak and then do it.
Trade.
And what was the other two?
Raiders
Raiders don't need offensive pieces. They need defensive pieces.
And Bears.
Bears don't have the trade pieces. They don't have the first round picks.
You won't take a couple picks on Tariq Cohen?
No, they're like the Seahawks are going to look at that and go, "Are you kidding? Like no, like excuse me, sir."
I think
And
the
so-
reason. I think the reason.
I think.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just think thinking about it more and more, I think something like what Tanner just said about the power of the players trying to have more power. I think this is honestly at the end of the day Russell trying to make a point and being like, hey, like
Help me.
I'm this good. I have no problem making your life miserable. Make it better for me.
Yeah.
Like do better.
After everything that he's been through, he deserves it. Usually I'm kind of but I feel like he's shown the team enough loyalty, and he's been the reason why we have had success since the Legion of Boom disbanded. And so he deserves to listen to the man. Granted, when I say that, we also have the second lowest cap space of any team right now. And so
it get worse if we trade Russell. It's like 33 some mil if we trade him in dead cap money, something like that.
It's
so honestly, if he wants things to get better, honestly, part of what I feel is maybe you should learn from Tom Brady and restructure.
Thank you.
Because frankly, it's getting a little ridiculous at this point. Teams don't win when their quarterback is like taking up a huge percentage of the
that is rookie
space.
Contract matters. Rookie contract matters.
It's ridiculous.
When on a rookie contract, that's it.
That's the thing. Like in the last, I think 10 years, the only quarterback who has, or no, I don't. Anyways, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
Since the only team who has won the Super Bowl without a quarterback on a rookie contract is Tampa and New England with Tom Brady. Other than that, it's all
which
rookie
is
contracts.
15 to 20 million every year.
Yeah.
Yeah, which isn't as much as. I mean, like, why do you need $35 million a year, dude? Okay,
exactly.
Like,
right.
I mean, and this kind of brings me to my biggest point about the situation. Talking about the Seahawks cap space situation and what they can, like in reality, what are they going to be able to do? I can't see them being able to do much in the offseason. Look at what the Rams have done this offseason so far in adding Stafford. Look at what the Niners have done. Just already have. Granted, their claim that Jimmy Garoppolo is their guy, but I don't buy it.
I don't buy it either. That was ridiculous. I know that
They
John
are
Lynch
the
is supposed
best.
to say it, but nah.
They're the best. You think about it. You put a top 15 quarterback on the Niners, they're the best team in the NFL.
Put them top five.
I wouldn't say so.
I would disagree with that.
Really?
I would say top five though.
I think they're up
Yeah, like
there,
5 or
but I
6
think
probably,
they're
yeah.
not the best.
But either way, maybe not the best, but top 5.
Top five is more fair.
I feel like you could say the same thing about here's my thing though. Like I feel like with the Seahawks, the Rams, and the 49ers, each of those teams all need like a little bit of something, and they're automatically in the top 10.
So
Seahawks,
no Stafford?
Seahawks just need to fix their O-line, and I think they're Gucci.
Wait,
I think
Stafford ain't that piece for the Rams though?
no.
Linebacker.
I'm honestly going to take this to my grave and the end of the season saying I think Stafford will be a way better than Goff, but I don't think he's going to be a take them to the Super Bowl change. You know?
I don't think they're going to the Super Bowl, but I definitely see both the Niners and Rams, I think they are in a better situation to succeed today than the Seahawks are.
Oh, I do. I think
agree
so
with
too.
that.
But I also
And-
think I'm putting my chips on the Seahawks any day because of how freaking lucky this team seems to get every single year. Like,
That's why they're annoying to watch every week because it's
That's-
like these
that's the
games.
thing. That's the thing. It's getting annoying to watch. You can't really put your thumb on what's happening. And I'm gonna say kind of another hot take here. And so with our cap space and everything, and with the success that I believe the 49ers and Rams will have in the future, I feel like the best thing for the Seahawks right now to do, as hard as it may be, is to completely rebuild.
if we rebuild, we're gonna be shit for the next like 20 years.
Right.
Like
10.
I like.
No.
Here's the fact. Like, we are not in a position to rebuild. We have no first round picks. We have hardly any second round picks. We only have like some second round, some third round picks. We don't like if we rebuild this team, frankly, that will be the most frustrating thing for me because this team should have been a dynasty. Like we had a setup.
Dynasties don't exist.
Robert,
the
shut
NFL.
up. They do.
Patriots.
They
Other than the
Patriots.
Patriots, they will never exist for the next 20 years, 30. They'll
like
never exist again. It
here's the
doesn't
thing.
happen. Parity's too crazy.
If the Seahawks, I mean, maybe we could like the only
Or the
reason that I
closest thing
think
to a dynasty.
yeah, the only thing that would make me think that the Seahawks could have an efficient rebuild would be the fact that we have a very good GM.
So,
But I don't know.
So here's the cap really quick. The cap for the Seahawks, they are right below the league average. The league average is 15 million. They're at 11 million, 18th.
Gotcha. I mean, just kind of
Could be
my
worse.
take on it is, given the Russell Wilson situation, given what I believe is going to happen with LA and San Francisco, I think we either have to go out and spend everything, give Russell what he wants, and just go all out, shoot for the Super Bowl right now. Or we tear it down completely, trade everyone, not just Russell, but Tyler Lockett and Bobby Wagner, anyone with value.
You're willing
No,
to take all
F
that cap
that.
hit? You're willing to take all that cap hit right now in a $180 million?
F that. You're basically destroying the Seahawks for the future.
My
That's
problem
all
with that is cap hits. So you're going to take a massive cap hit in a year where the cap is at $180 million.
Plus, you do lose a lot of fans.
Yeah,
You-
you destroy the fan base. Like the Seahawks will not survive that.
I mean,
They'll go from
okay.
the 12th man to like the 9th man or something.
Or the no man.
Look at the Saints, minus 66. Holy smokes.
Look at the. Are we not talking about the Rams? The Rams have no cap. Like,
Dude,
They're going to have to cut a bunch.
bro, I don't see how this is the reason why. Honestly, and as like I respect your opinions, Tanner, but like I've also heard the same conversation coming out of like the like national media about the
Same
Rams.
with me and Shane,
This-
too. We were talking about the Rams.
This is what I'm talking about when I say I don't see it. The Rams have the like one of the worst cap situations.
Not the
They're-
worst.
Okay,
Not
not
the
the
worst.
worst, but they're gonna have to cut so many people, and like, I don't know. Like, I think with the like honestly, and I don't think with the Seahawks it's at a situation. It's a situation where they need to completely like slash and burn. But honestly, I think we are in a position where it would be probably a time to start. I do agree with you on a couple things. I agree with you on the fact that I think they need to be looking at some of their older players like Bobby and KJ and going, these are guys who still have some run in them in the league.
Mhm.
Like, what can we get for them? Because
problem-
KJ's a free agent, by the way.
Problem with that
Right.
is KJ's a free agent, but Bobby definitely.
I mean, you can get a lot out of Bobby, and as much as it would pain me to see,
Mhm.
honestly, the last bastion of the Legion of Boom leave,
Hmm.
I think I would much rather see them do something like a restructuring of the team than a
Legion
complete
of Boom
Dinner
1.5.
slash and burn, like burn it to the ground, rebuild it. Because I don't think burn it to the ground, rebuild it works a lot of the time. I think most of the, like, if you look at what the Seahawks did back in, what was it, 2017, I think, when we were at our low point, and they kind of cast off a lot of the Legion of Boom, and they were like, bye-bye.
Yeah. I don't know. One thing I definitely don't have a ton of knowledge on is the cap space or salary cap and how it works. I know there's specific dates and specific rules with it.
Yeah,
And-
March 17th and June 1st, as you said, are the main ones. It depends on the contract. Of course, Russell Wilson, you trade him on June 1st, you get about 30-some million in dead cap money if you trade him. Bobby Wagner, it's much better to trade him next year, as his dead cap is 3.75 than 12.5 in dead cap money. I think that's a bit less if you trade him. But either way,
You know who I think would be very interested in Bobby Wagner?
a lot of teams would.
I think the Browns would be very
I
interested
was
in
going
Bobby
to say
Wagner.
Cleveland.